man. Seriously.
Well, hello, everyone, and good morning. Of course, time is irrelevant on this podcast. Am I right?
It's true.
This could be 2 a.m., except for the sunshine. Of course, we could be in the Arctic Circle. Anyway, welcome to another installment of Roadshows and Stuff. That's what it's called, right?
I think so.
And I'm Doug McLean, your host. I'm the Vice President of Partnerships here at MRA, here with
Frank Mancina. The Director of Partnerships, Canada.
Powerful
Powerful title.
Partnerships. Frank, we got an exciting episode today. I may have let everyone in on a little secret earlier when I said good morning. It's actually very early. We usually don't do these this early. So we're not as free-flowing as we usually are. Yeah, well, that's, a little dull. Could use some sharpening. But we got a fascinating topic today, something we've kind of touched upon, but never really have we delved too deeply into this. And what are we talking about today, Frank? Why is it fascinating?
So the title actually is Help.
Yes.
I Need Somebody Help. Right. Not just anybody, which is obviously a reference to Aerosmith.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And what does that mean? What does that mean, that title?
So what we really want to talk about is the fact that a roadshow, there's not just one person that is involved in a roadshow. There's so many different elements that make, an event happen. And make, and so we want to just kind of dive in a little bit deeper, because like you mentioned, we have touched upon this in the past, but we haven't really spoken detail about it.
Yeah, sure. So you've got a road show. It's rolling around the country, around the continent, actually. And you've got a driver or a drive team. And if you think about it, it's easy. Yeah, you're in, you're in Houston Monday, you're in Dallas Wednesday, then you're in, San Jose on Friday. Easy peasy. Everything's set up. It's done. The driver's out there setting things up. But it's not actually. If you think about all of the nitty gritty, all of the detailed responsibilities that drive team or driver's responsible for, it could be overwhelming. And usually calendars are prearranged at least a couple weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. So if something were to go wrong, or if there was a hiccup, as minor as it may seem to you and I sitting at our desks, it could actually be pretty, pretty devastating
100%.
Out there, act of God, weather, whatever else. So because of that, there's a whole support structure. There is your account executive internally, who's handling the day-to-day communication with the client, with the driver, relaying pertinent information also to the host site, wherever this tour is going in the forthcoming weeks and days, making sure they know at what time it's coming in. And if you think about it too, the driver is limited by their, by their hours of service under the DOT. So they only have so many hours in a day they can work. I don't think are they legally allowed to talk on a phone while they drive?
I think it has to be hands-free.
Yeah, headset, right?
Yeah.
I think they can do it via headset. So, and like I said, there's so much nitty gritty to work out, like even just booking hotels.
Yeah, exactly.
Little elements like that. So that's why a support structure is needed, as we said, and you have people that are kind of the backbone of the program. Not that the driver isn't important; they're one of the most pivotal pieces in the puzzle, but they need an entire team behind them, or this wouldn't be even in the smallest scale, right? So, Frank, what are some examples of things that could potentially go sideways? I'm going to put you on the spot here. You got to sharpen that.
There's a couple things, right? You mentioned hotels, and we know from experience that certain areas of the country are more difficult to park, a 53-foot trailer. So, for example, in New York City.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
That's super important. If you think about it, like you're not at a truck stop every night. These drivers and operators are staying in hotels. Think about a hotel parking lot. You're pulling in a 53-foot trailer with a 20 some odd foot tractor stretched, and you have to find 12 spots in a row at the hotel.
Exactly. Right.
In addition to being able to get into the lot in the first place and then leave in the morning without being blocked in.
Right. So, I think thankfully we do have a really, really great network of drivers who talk to each other and know about different hotels in different regions. But for the new green person, they need somewhere to stay, and that's where the account executives kind of help out if need be. But a lot of our drivers like to book their own hotels. But that's just kind of one example of
Sure.
the kind of the support staff. And then you have your maintenance, your preventative maintenance, when you need an oil change, when you need to get to your annual safety done, and
which has to be done within the confines of the schedule, right? That, like I said, is booked out for weeks. Or think about the example of like an act of God. You have a driver who has their vehicle on an expressway and it's like snowed out, right?
Yeah.
Traffic's at a standstill, or there's a huge accident and you're delayed for hours and hours and hours. Well, there's a domino effect. If you're on such a tight schedule, you have to be at a certain city at a certain location at a certain time. So what does that mean? The driver can't sit there and go through like a Rolodex and call the site, call the client. That's when all they have to do, and it's a huge relief, I'm sure, is just relay to the account executive, right? That's in the brick and mortar, and they call ahead. They do all of the dirty work, if you will. They let the client know, hey, there's the potential we may be late for this event. That could even let the client think about rescheduling, because that could mean that this act of God isn't necessarily just affecting our truck. It could be affecting all of their guests who are going to the show. They themselves may not be able to go there. You call the host site, you let them know, hey, this is happening in this place. This is a potential scenario. We may not make it today. So that's a ton of work. Just like 100%. You had alluded to maintenance. You get a flat tire. Let's say you're in the middle of Idaho in February at 3 a.m. and you're, 250 miles from the closest city. How do you get another tire? Like, how do you get that replaced? Especially when you have another 350 miles to go, in the next day and a half to make your next event. So you need a team internally.
Yeah, exactly.
You need somebody who can support you with all of this stuff. You get to an event and your generator doesn't work. What happens then?
That's right. You call your team to help support, right? And that's where the team comes in, and we'll find a backup generator, get it in, get the electrician in to set, to hook everything up. Sure. And, essentially the show must go on, right? That's we always pride ourselves into making our events. No matter what the situation is. I remember working for one of our military clients, and we literally had to tow the tractor into the base, and
because the generator's on the tractor,
because the generator's on the tractor. So with the tractor gone down, we literally have to just tow in the tractor.
Sure. So, because the graphics match as well, right? You can't have a mismatched like bright purple tractor with a beautifully branded trailer, right? So
and and at the end of the day, we'll tow the truck, hundreds of miles if we have to.
Oh,
to
sure,
make the show,
sure.
Right.
And that's another thing. If it's during an event and all of a sudden the client has some crazy unique need, like they need a new iPad for the event. Well, I mean, the driver can't just get in their tractor or get in the car and drive around. They'll call the account executive and say, hey, call local retailers, call the Best Buys, call this place, that place, see if somebody has one in stock, relay that information to the driver, go out and get it for client, right? It's little teeny things like that too, that make all the difference in the world to make the events better and to do things seamlessly. Also, you can, as long as client is not aware, you can schedule you can schedule some mechanical servicing during events. So the client, as I said, and that's the most important part, isn't aware and they're invisible. And you take advantage of the schedule and the downtimes in between cities. But yeah, there are a ton of moving pieces. Even if you were to have a problem at a scale, let's say you're 100 pounds to your max permissible weight. You relay that to our DOT officer who works with our team internally, in production. They say, well, what can we do? Can we move some instruments around to get some weight off this axle or that axle so we don't run into this issue anymore? So it's kind of a big,
Can you think of any incidents with you on the road in the past?
Oof. Just act of God stuff. Snow has been massive. Weather threats are the biggies, and then breaking down are also the other freak factors. But one of the worst case scenarios is when you have a big event and you get to the site and it's a third party site.
Yeah.
And they have no clue who you are. And you're there at like 5 a.m. The event has to start at 9. You have all your documentation, but there's some like underling who's working the parking lot that day who has no clue. They have to call their boss. They can't get a hold of them. You're freaking out. Phones are ringing all over the country with client internally here. Those are the other one, the triggers just a ton of reactionary activity is like you can't fit in a location. You get to a lot, or you get to an alleyway, or you get to a predetermined parking spot. Whereas everything beforehand looked great. Google Earth was perfect, except there's like a parking meter that was installed 2 weeks ago that no one knew about.
Or there's construction or something. That's happened to me before. Yeah.
Oh, and that's never reported accurately. Yeah. So anyway, help. I need somebody. Help, not just anybody.
That's right.
You can't do it alone out there, Frank.
That's right. You got to have a team.
As in life.
I do remember the one time we had to like find ether for our generator gas because it was so cold. We couldn't get the generator going. We're like, oh my God.
So this is what we do. And the secret recipe is just, it's trial and error. It's a ton of work. You make 50 phone calls until you finally, you hit the bullseye. It's not easy. Well, I should say it is kind of easy, but it just requires a ton of busy work.
Yeah. So, lots of teamwork here.
Oh, love it. Love it. Hands together. So Frank, I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to do a quick stuff today?
Do you want to do quick stuff today, Doug?
I think we should. So you go ahead and take
it. I didn't come up with one.
No. Oh, okay. I've got it. What is your current favorite show on television that you're currently watching, and why? It doesn't have to be new either. It could be something you've just never seen before. You have 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Seinfeld, because it's on Netflix now.
It is on Netflix now.
Been binging it.
I'm just going to agree.
It's pretty good.
In the interest of time, I'll agree with you, Seinfeld, even though I'm not watching it. But I saw an interview with the guy, the soup Nazi, and they talked about the royalties that he gets. There's some years, and once it went into syndication, there's some years he gets like 30 grand.
Oh, nice.
In royalty check. He was only in 2 episodes of the entire series, like the soup Nazi and I think the finale.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but that is good. I'm watching a whole bunch of crap. There's so many streaming services you can't keep up anymore.
That's right.
Joe. So Frank, where can people go for more information?
We can go to www.gomra.com, or you can follow us on our social media channels.
Yes.
Our next week's episode, Doug, what's that?
Yes, that is about I believe exterior elements.
Oh, nice.
So it's not just the vehicle, and it's not just the tractor, the trailer, whatever. There are some other little accoutrement that you can sprinkle around.
It's true.
The tractor trailer to make it more inviting for people.
That's right.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in again this week. We will be back next time at a much more agreeable hour.
So, and just a quick shout out to our listeners down under. Yes.
We don't mean Ohio, since we're in Michigan. We're referring to Australia. And, thanks for listening. That's so we now have 3 countries that are listening, including the US and Canada. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.